Welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Joining us on the phones right now, National Press Secretary for the GOP. Joining us once again here on the show, Blair Ellis. Blair, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Thanks for letting me join you all this morning. Appreciate you making time for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I made the comment last night when I was doing a Periscope broadcast. It seems like it should be a Thursday or Friday with as much news that's come out since Sunday. It's been packed, and really it seems like it's been a lot of good news for the president and a lot of good news for the Republicans overall.
It sure has, and it is funny you say that. It feels like everything beyond Sunday, I feel like we're moving at a snail's pace compared to the speed at which we were cruising Saturday and Sunday in particular. But it has been a great week for Americans. It's awesome to, again, have it solidified what we've known all along, that there was no collusion with the Trump campaign. There was no obstruction of justice whatsoever when it comes to the Trump campaign's attempts to win in 2016, and so we're grateful for that. And it should be a good thing that every American can celebrate, regardless of ideology, regardless of where they stand on the political spectrum.
Yeah, but as you know, not every American is celebrating it. And in fact, the Democrats seem quite upset that the president did not collude with the Russian government, which, to me, you're right. Everyone should be happy that the election was on the up and up, which I think if you looked at it and you had any common sense, you knew it was. But that it was confirmed that the election was on the up and up, you should be happy about that. What does it say about the Democrat Party and where the Democrat Party is right now that they just can't accept it, and two, they're not very happy with the results?
I think it goes to show what we've known all along, that this is all a part of the Democrats' plan to undercut this president and to delegitimize his election from 2016. This investigation has never been about seeking the truth. For them, it's always been about their political agenda against the president. And I think it's incredibly transparent that for the last 2 years, we've had Democrats say that Attorney General William Barr and Robert Mueller were well respected, that they were thorough, that they were waiting for this report to drop, and that this would be the end-all, be-all and help in the debate. And now that the hammer's dropped and the investigation's wrapped and the outcome isn't quite what Democrats had hoped for, now they're trying to sow seeds of doubt. Now they're trying to find ways to question the report and the findings. I think it just reeks of desperation, and I think it's just sad. We should all be at a point where we can move on. I think the American people are ready for that, and we owe them that.
And what does that look like? What does moving on look like? Because, the president, and I don't blame him, he's taking a victory lap on this. I mean, is this for the Republicans and for the president, with the Democrats not moving on, I guess, isn't it still worthy? I mean, there was a poll that came out today that still said 50% of Americans, or over 50% of Americans, still believe the president colluded with Russia. Do the Republicans need to educate the American people? Because I don't think the Democrats are.
You're spot on. There's certainly going to be an emphasis on educating and informing the American people of the findings in this report. That's definitely going to be a priority of ours. But I think at the end of the day, what we have to look at is that for 2 years, we've seen Democrats push this baseless investigation. They've issued ridiculous document request after document request, and they've really kind of peddled this fake Russian collusion narrative. So we're having to undo a lot of what Democrats have tried to kind of cement into the mainstream news, and that's going to be a lot of what our work is and our focus is. But really, those are 2 years that Democrats could have spent working with the president to deliver bipartisan results for the American people, and instead they've chosen to peddle a fake narrative, to lie to the American people. And I think Democrats not only owe the president an apology, but they owe the American people an apology, because 2 years of straight lies is too many, and the American people need to show that they're ready for people who are going to get to work for them when they go to the ballot box in November of 2020.
Visiting with Blair Ellis, National Press Secretary for the GOP. I want to ask you about something that happened yesterday. Mitch McConnell calling the Democrats on the Green New Deal and calling for a vote on that. I think there were maybe a handful, 3 or 4 Democrats who voted against that piece of legislation. 43 Democrats decided to vote present on that measure. What's your response to that?
I think it's laughable. I think that that Dems have gone as far as to say that that Beto O'Rourke said that this Green New Deal was just as important as fighting the Nazis. We've seen Amy Klobuchar, who called this Green New Deal aspirational. We've seen Democrat after Democrat laud this deal, but when push came to shove, they voted present. And I think that shows that they know just how unworkable this bill is, and just what a laughing stock it is. You know, I think it's a socialist wish list. It covers a lot of things like government mandated jobs, government funded healthcare, government everything. But when push came to shove, they don't want to back it. They don't want to support it. They want to be able to talk about it and use it to stir up their base, but they don't want to actually do anything with it. And I hope that their Democrat base makes note of that.
Well, and listen, while they may not be on the record voting-wise being in favor of this, like you said, I think just about every single top Democrat running for the nomination has embraced either the deal completely or at least portions of it, correct?
Correct. You're spot on.
So, I mean, this is something that, you know, whether or not they vote on it or not, they're on the record supporting this, and it's a socialist takeover of just about every part of our lives. And it's dangerous. And this is what this is what the voters need to know about going into 2020, that this party has moved so far to the left that they're embracing. When you're calling a socialist takeover of virtually every part of your life aspirational, that should worry every single person in this nation.
Totally. And when they say, you know, it's a $93 trillion price tag over 10 years, and we've seen in the same legislation, we've seen them say that, you know, the world is going to implode if we don't do anything about, the environment, if we don't do anything about carbon emissions. It's going to implode in just 10 short years. Well, they had an opportunity to put their money where their mouth was yesterday, and the fact that they voted present, I think, goes to show that they know that there's no real reality to that bill, that it is unaffordable, that it is unworkable, and that it's simply just unrealistic. And I think yesterday just goes to show that they're going to say what they need to really get their base energized. They're going to pretend they're behind certain policy initiatives, but when it comes time to actually do, talk the talk and walk the walk, they don't have the courage to do it.
Yeah, Blair Ellis, National Press Secretary for the GOP. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. It's been a good week for the president, a good week for the Republican Party, and quite honestly, a great week for America. And we appreciate you joining us today.
Amen to that. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. That's Blair Ellis, National Press Secretary for the Republican Party.